In the United States, the prevalence of suicide, the act of fatally harming oneself, has been steadily on the rise during the last decade. According to WHO, nearly 45,000 people in the US only commit suicide. A person with suicidal tendencies shows certain symptoms and signs. Depression is the most common cause of suicide. Deep depressive thoughts are typically accompanied by a sense of suffering and a feeling of hopelessness about escaping the pain.
See, we have this notion that only depression, only those individuals who kill themselves or have suicide are having depression. It's not like that. Every suicide is not because of depression, and every depression doesn't lead to suicide. It can be a symptom of depression. Like you can say that due to like according to researchers, around 60% of all the suicides, around 60% are due to depression.
A Star is Born is a movie that's been made before Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga's 2018 version, but Cooper's turn as Jackson Maine is the one that will stick with you, particularly in its depiction of untreated mental illness. Maine, the character Cooper plays, is a music star who's an alcoholic. He's a troubled but loving man. He also plays it all too realistically as someone who clearly sees a stigma involved with mental illness, unable to realize that it's okay not to be okay. His downfall, like in every version of the story, is tragic, and it stands as an important reminder that self-care is as important as anything else.
See, nowadays I think we have romanticized the notion of depression. Okay, I'm having a sad mood today, so I'm depressed. It's not like that, right? Depression is a whole condition, a whole disorder. You have to meet a certain criteria of symptoms until a certain duration so that you will be diagnosed with depression, right? And then despite of having a sad mood, you should have anhedonia, like a lack of pleasure. You don't feel pleasure in anything you used to feel pleasure about. There is a disturbed appetite. Maybe you are eating too much, or you are having no craving or no appetite at all. Then there is sleep disturbance. Maybe you are sleeping too much or none, right? Low sleep or very declined, disturbed sleep, right? And then there is one thing which is called hopelessness, right? A feeling of hopelessness, continuous, a persistent period till a certain amount of time, till a certain amount of days, we can say that okay, this person is having a major depressive episode now. But yes, we can say that there are early symptoms or early signs which if we recognize and help the person and ask the person, see, I think you are having some issue, you should get some help. I think it will help them before they meet the criteria whole itself, right? It can be, other than depression, it can be anything like maybe substance use issues, they have difficulty controlling their impulses, they can be psychosis, there can be anything like a condition of hopelessness. Individual think that there is nothing to live about, right? I don't have anything to look up to. I feel worthless. Maybe they have lost something, like, or they have fear of losing something.
Mental illnesses have been known to cause suicide through cognitive impairment. Schizophrenia is a type of psychosis that is often associated with suicidal tendencies. Inner voices will command otherwise functional individuals to commit self-harm and must be treated to prevent these voices from becoming too authoritative. Although many believe that the director of Fight Club did not want Tyler Durden to portray a schizophrenic character, one could not help but believe that he did. Tyler shows all the signs of a patient with psychosis. He has hallucinations to the point that he becomes dangerous and starts a club of men that creates havoc in the whole country. We see how Durden starts losing his mind and develops an alter ego where he meets a girl. A cry for help occurs when an individual suffering from internal or emotional pain either cannot or does not alert others around them and will attempt suicide as a last resort. In some cases, these individuals will select methods they believe won't actually harm them, but are oftentimes tragically misinformed.
See, psychosis or schizophrenia is a disorder in which person has no reality contact. That they have loosened the contact with reality. They do or think things which are out of the reality, which are not there. So there is a chance, a very high chance, that they will be having suicidal ideations, or they will be not having ideations but they'll kill themselves. Not having the ideations because they are not in the control, right? Because they don't have any reality contact. Maybe they'll start having these hallucinations. Okay, cut your wrist, you'll be having higher power. They'll be out of reality. They'll see, okay, whatever voice I'm hearing, it's God's voice, and I'll do that. I'll follow it. They'll just cut it, and they'll commit suicide and die. So first, if a person is having psychosis or schizophrenia, first thing first, we prefer to hospitalize them. Yeah, getting or treating them in a hospital setting where no means of suicide or harming themselves is available, right? Because at home you have multiple things, right? So if the person is having ideations or is at risk, the first thing we suggest family to hospitalize them. If not, remove all the means around them which can hurt them or harm them, right? It can be anything. A dishwash soap in your kitchen maybe, right? Or maybe a spoon or a fork, or maybe just a wall. They can bang their head, right? So just monitor them constantly. And yes, help them in a way which will be non-judgmental to them, and getting an understanding, okay, I'm getting what you're feeling, right? It's a thing. To people who are normal, who have reality contact, who don't have schizophrenia or psychosis, we can help them first by understanding them. Right? Okay, I can understand. Maybe this is not a problem for us, but it is a real problem for them. We should understand it, right? For suppose someone has lost his job. It must not be a big issue for me, for a person like me, but it is an issue for the person who has lost his or her job. So I should understand, okay, this must be a problem for him. Okay, I can understand that. Just tell me, how can I help you?
Accidental suicide is a common cause among young teenagers and adults. This cause can be linked to substance use problems and typically occurs in those suffering from an addiction. The best defense against this cause is to seek detox treatment or substance use recovery. Beautiful Boy, a movie based on real-life events, shows a young boy's struggle with substance abuse. Nick Shelf, who's played by Timothy Chalamet, has struggled with substance from the age of 11. His addiction started with vodka, and over the years his need to escape from reality got stronger, and the substances turned from alcohol to cocaine to meth. Although Nick was rescued after his overdose, the whole story shows how dangerous this suicidal tendency is.
According to statistics and researchers, women attempt more suicides than men. But around 7%, like men are at 7% more at risk than women of committing and having a successful suicide attempt. Like women commit it or attempt it more, but a successful suicide or people dying from suicide, there's a 7% higher risk in men. And speaking about age groups, see, every age group is at risk. There's nothing like that this age group can be, having some prognostic factor or some prevalence more than that, but you can say every age group. But the more of that age group which is at risk is the adolescent and early adulthood or young adulthood, like people with the age of 12 to 15 to the age of 30 or 35, they are at a higher risk. You can say that it is among this age group, suicide is the second leading cause of death. And among all the age groups, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death. You can see the difference, right? So yeah.
Common in many different age groups, social isolation causes individuals to experience loneliness. a known leading cause of suicide, especially among men.
Is isolated. The person start feeling that he or she is not part of the world now. I don't belong here. I don't feel like it. I'm isolated from those people.
Often, those experiencing social isolation have difficulty expressing their feelings to others and coming forward to admit suicidal thoughts. Due to the perceived threat of isolation, an individual will resort to suicide as a way to escape. Theodore Finch, in All the Bright Places, was a character that perfectly depicted this tendency. One could see that John Green wanted the audience to see how social isolation and depression controls a person. Theodore had phases where he would lock himself in his room and not leave for days and even months. This caused him to lose friends and stay behind in school. Even when he found love, it didn't take long for him to go back to isolation. His feelings for his love confused him even more, causing him to commit suicide in the end. While the first half of the film focuses on Finch's efforts to save Violet, who also struggles with depression, the second half centers on Violet's unsuccessful attempts to save Finch. Though he is willing to do so much in order to help Violet, he becomes closed off when she asks him about his feelings.
See, we have this thought that if we ask about suicide, they'll get triggered. Like, are you having suicidal ideations? It will trigger you. Is it like that? I don't think so. Because asking about suicide is never a thing that will lead to suicide. It will identify suicide actually. Maybe the way we are asking is the one which is making issue, right? If we ask an individual, aren't you having suicidal ideations? Having some problem? Like this facial expressions and my non-verbal behavior and my statement, my verbatim is making a sense that you should say no, I'm okay, right? I'm having a judgmental question with you. What if I'll ask, are you having any suicidal ideations? It's a very neutral question, right? With neutral non-verbal behavior, with neutral facial expression or gestures. Are you disturbed? Or are you having a hard time dealing things? You can share it with me. Maybe I'll try to help you out.
Experiencing suicidal thoughts does not always mean that a person will kill themselves. Around 1 in 5 people think about suicide at some point in their lives. Often, this is in response to a temporary feeling or situation that triggers the negative thought. It is important to make a clear distinction between suicidal intent and having suicidal thoughts, as having suicidal intent indicates that someone needs immediate help.
See, talk about it, right? You are having problem, everyone does. It's nothing like that in this world. I don't think so. Anybody among all of this, like humankind, has any one of us has no issues. We can say, okay, I don't have any issues. We all have our battles. We all have issues. Talking about them and accepting it that okay, we are having some issues, and accepting it that there is a cure for it. Going for a cure, just stepping into the door of your therapist or a hospital or a consultant will help you, can change your way, because it's about delaying the issue, you know. Most of the times we just don't want to kill ourselves. We want to end the pain because we are not able to bear that emotional pain. We want to end that pain and we are not able to, then we end ourselves. So if anyone could help us in ending that pain, it could be a therapist, it could be a counselor, maybe a friend, anyone. So go talk, realize, agree, accept, and heal. Yeah, that's it.
Let us know some of your favorite examples in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe to The Circuit Live.